Hey everybody, Anthony here. I'm the creator behind Legions of Will, and I'm just gonna go over how to play and some of the card types in the game. So to start, we have some of the cards here from our Infernal or Demon deck. So you have your base cards. You can see the card type right beneath the card name. Some bases have an ability or a text box. Right here you have the Demon Layer base. Every base has 3 circles at the bottom. The 4 all the way to the left, which has a gray outline, represents the base's defense. Then in the middle, you have capacity, and all the way over to the right, you have resource. The defense represents how much damage a base can take before being destroyed. Right in the middle, you have capacity. That is how many non-base permanents can be attached to that base. And then you have your resource to the right, which represents how much resource you gain at the beginning of each of your turns. Over here, you have upgrades. You pay 4 resource to play this, and then it has a modifier over to the left. Starting from the bottom, you have defense. Then in the middle, you have capacity. And then right at the very top, you have resource. Here you have traps. All traps cost 2 to play. You play the trap for 2 and play it face down and attach it to a base. You can play the trap's activation cost to flip it over, revealing the effect. Traps can be activated in response to any of your bases being attacked, targeted, or destroyed. Over here you have an action. Every card that you play, besides traps, will have a resource cost in the top right hand corner. So in this case, it's 3. Whenever you play an action or any other card, you draw a card. Some actions have redeem. The redeem cost is equal to the resource cost of that card. You pay the resource cost, redeem it, putting it into your graveyard, thus drawing a card. Here you have a unit. Units have a subtype. In this case, the subtype is demon. At the bottom right, you see that there's a 6 and 3. That represents its will and its power. The 6 being its will and the 3 being its power. This unit would require a 6 or greater to attack. So you roll a d12 to attack, and then it has a power of 3, and that's how much damage it can deal and how much damage it can take. When starting a match, decide which player goes first. You can roll a d20 to decide. So in this case, this player would go first. Once you decide who goes first, you may choose which base you want to start the game with face up. After you decided who goes first, each player gets to choose which base they want to start the game with face up. Then each player will draw their initial hand consisting of 2 cards. In Legions of Will, your maximum hand size is 2 unless an effect states otherwise. At the beginning of your turn, gain resource equal to the total amount of resource from permanents you control. In this case, we're going to gain 4 resource. You can track resource with a 20-sided dice, and your resource maxes out at 20. It doesn't go away at the end of your turn, so it'll stay over here until you spend it. So we gain 4 resource. We can now play a card from our hand. I have 4 resource to spend, and Serbal's Monument costs 4. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 4 to play Serbal's Monument and attach it to this base. Once that card resolves, I'll go ahead and draw a card. And now that I have nothing else to do, I'll go ahead and pass my turn. Each turn consists of a main phase, a battle phase, a second main phase, and then your end phase. You may decide to go to your battle phase once during your turn. Choose which units you wish to attack with and which base those units are attacking. In this case, I'm going to have my 2 units, Magicai and Serpent Demon, both go after the same base here, City of Seraphim. Any number of units you control can go after whichever base you choose. Serpent Demon has a will of 4, so I need to roll a 4 or higher with my 12-sided dice in order for it to attack. Magicai has a will of 6. I roll for will for Serpent Demon and got an 11. We can now tap our unit, signifying that it is attacking. A tapped unit can't defend, so keep that in mind. Now I'll roll will for Magicai, and I got an 8. So Magicai also attacks. Now your combat phase is split into a few other phases. You have your attack, where you get to decide which units you're attacking with. Afterwards, your opponent can decide if they want to respond and if they want to block. They can choose which one of your units they're blocking, and then you choose how that damage is being dealt. If they have multiple units blocking one of yours, then you can choose which one is dealt damage first. In Legions of Will, you're attacking the bases, and you must destroy all 3 bases in order to win. Your opponent may decide to block with their units in order to protect their bases. They can also activate traps and play actions in order to protect themselves. In this case, if my opponent decides to block one of my units with their unit, 3 damage will still go through, which is just enough to take out this base. When a base is destroyed, everything attached to it is also destroyed. Everything attached to it is immediately sent to the graveyard. Once all 3 of my opponent's bases are destroyed and turned face down, then I would then win the game. So it's really that easy. Keep in mind, when you play a card, once the effect resolves, you can draw a card. At the beginning of your turn, you gain resource equal to the total resource among permanents you control. When you attack, you're attacking your opponent's bases. With all 3 bases being destroyed and turned face down, you would then win the game. You may reactivate your bases any number of times. The activation cost for your base is at the back of the card. And that's it. If you have any questions, hop in the Discord, and we also have several gameplay videos on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.